welcome to the day before the equinox. Tomorrow is light and darkness, yin and yang day. Also, it's the first day of fall. We have fall coming, September 21st. So today is the Jewish holiday, and we want to be friends and saying happy. Hi, we got disconnected again for a second, but we do want to wish our Jewish friends a happy day with family. What I want to do is I want to say the opening prayer. Then we have a terrific greeting song by Wani Weiss. I want to introduce our people in the room, my good friends Susan Sunday and Kathy Golightly and Bing Sopko, and I always love it when I have company. And you may hear their voices later if they have any questions. Sunday message service, September 20th, the Great Invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth to women. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide our little wills, the purpose which the man and serve. From the center which we call humanity, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. And now from our friend Ronnie.
This song is called Feeling Good. The words and the music are by Anthony Newley and Leslie Bricusse. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. New dawn, new day, new life for me. Feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean. Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Freedom is mine, I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good.
So what we want to do is get ourselves centered. First, I ask you to be with me and be with the words of the Masters. We have quite a few of them coming through today from several people. And please shut your phones off or mute them and then put them 2 feet away from you. Be with me, please. Now what we want to do is take those deep breaths, our usual little self-healing that we do for ourselves, so that we can center ourselves and be present to the word and the spirit of the message. Spirit of the message. I want you to leave revived and inspired. That's Spirit's intention today. So place your dominant hand on your heart, your other hand on your solar plexus, that place of I am that we want to stir up. And when you take these breaths, bring in the golden light through your crown chakra all the way down to your tippy toes. And as you exhale shadows, tensions, concerns, even thoughts that seem to take you off track from just being happy. So we're going to take one deep breath and then exhale. Spirit, flow through us, touch our hearts, us along the path to our fulfillment. Spirit, flow through us, guide us along the path to our fulfillment. So a little bit of an introduction as we're moving into fall and the lessons. There's the larger plan, and when we take those lessons, whether it's from Saint Germain or it's the Tibetan from the Alice Bailey channelings, or it's even from other master mediums who've actually channeled some pretty good lessons. We'll be talking about one of those today. And inside the lessons is to offer you the big plan, keep you in touch with the big plan, but to give you on how to be in the touch with all of it, the vista. That's my best talent, is to bring distinctions. So when I say bring distinctions, once I get informed by Spirit about the message and what the theme is, then they begin some synchronicity, words and ideas that build to deliver to you ideas of that message they want to have on you. This is not about learning. We're not in a learning class. This is spiritual development, for you coming to some sensibility about who you are as a spiritual being. That's the intention of the Sunday messages. And that's how we request you take them. That's the teacher's requests. And the fact that they're on video, you can go back any time so that you can get yourself enveloped again in the experience you had inside the words. Not to take note on the words, but to envelop yourself again in the experience you got from hearing the words, okay? That's how they want you to follow their lead. So, acting with intentionality. Be here with intentionality. Live your life with intentionality. That is always an underlying message, but they especially here with intentionality. Versus, they say, the human way of being of following the law of eventuality. Eventually I'll get it. Eventually I'll go there. No. Intentionality. Intentionality. So the intention of today's message, uncovering the challenges we, each human being, man and woman, encounter, self-created by our egos, through its constant, consistent unconscious patterns. Why? So we may awaken, so we may reach joy. And not occasionally, but often. Because as Christ stands in this room with us, he reminds you that that is our right. That is the gift he consistently wishes upon us, that we be in that state, joy. So have the message today be like a flowering or a metamorphosis, not a process. Because see, a process is kind of linear and it kind of feeds the mind, and that mind again is about feeding the ego. Have this today be like a flowering or metamorphosis. And as going into fall, I guess what we want to say is a letting go. As the trees are letting go of their leaves, a letting go. A letting go. With no committed action, operating in no intention, we will continue to host untrained and unillumined minds. Bewilderment will be the payoff on many an occasion. We'll be controlled by thought forms instigated by our emotions of fear and lack, failing to allow in divine light, failing to make needed compromises divinely directed to profoundly help ourselves. Succumbing to distortions, lacking the faculty of discrimination because there has been no awakening of our energy force centers, our chakras. There's been no spiritual responsiveness. We have not committed to being aware. We have allowed that energy of our first, second, and third chakras to manage us. There has been no order or organization or what we want. And I don't mean suppression, my friends. When we talk about the sanctity of sexual union, of being in joy and comfortable and satisfied, that's not about suppressing. So you get is being human needs guided, integrated with divine light. There's no suppression here. Spirit's committed to your full self-expression, mentally and emotionally and physically, but responsibly. Operating as a spiritual being, managing this toll, this piece called the body. So there's an acknowledgement of our emotions. There's an acknowledgement of our desires. There's an acknowledgement of our hurts and needs, but they don't run the show. They don't run the show. You do. The foundation of all the lessons that we've been dealing with, especially the last 2 months, are lessons from the teachers that lie inside the fact that of the intention and the optimal manifestation of the seventh ray. We're in the seventh ray. The effective color that we're in, the vibration we're in, is violet. As you go to manifest in your dreams, or you meditate, or you're in healer, you predominantly, because it's available. And that's what the teachers do now. Use Saint Germain, the color purple is his standard. Fulfill on the plan that we intelligent, aware human beings prepare Earth for the coming of Christ consciousness, that we are coming together synergistically, light workers, in tribe, to alter the schematics of the planet such that light pours forth from spirit, through our spirit. The issues of being responsible for this, bringing together the physicality of the third dimensional world with honor, with grace, with love, with patience. And what are we doing? We're bringing it together with our spiritual beingness that seeds it. Not emerging. Synthesis. It's a synthesis. It's a coming together, a synthesis. The big deal here is our egos. Our egos mind rule, especially those first, second, and third, fourth centers. They use it. Our egos use them. Wanting to be in charge, it affects opportunities for triggers that have those seemingly to offer insurmountable pain and challenge. It insists on its identity holding strong, and it is unwilling to let go of power it finds in its control versus acquiescence. In truth, we are spiritual beings. As within, so without. Where there are form and structures we've put in place, probably since we've been 4, to be safe and unbothered, these forms, these structures, disturb the flow. They interfere with the relationship between us and the divine. I don't need that. I don't need anything. What I want to do is cite a piece from a book by Stuart Edward White. It's from the Betty book. And I recommend a lot of people get that book. The book's by Stuart Edward White, where he actually writes up the channelings of his wife, Betty, who's a medium. And these were printed in about, again, a lot of this came out really after World War I. There was begging from the plane high. And the mediums actually got with the teachers. See, that's the optimal experience of dealing with a medium, is being in touch with the teachers, knowing you have access to the wisdom that they believe you're entitled to. Impetus. Excuse me. Each person has his own individual spiritual impetus, which she or he make from whatever genuine aspirations and desire he or she may possess. What we call it the will, some say. The teachers say that that's what they recognize and hear us say, that that's our will. The will, they told us, trying to define this outreaching desire that results in impetus, is separate from either the mind or the brain. It is the driving force of a being that makes you decide for or against. It's what I build with. It is the conscious part of your soul. Will is a poor name for it, but we have no better. You measure growth against it as you measure a child backed against a door. It is like a number you are labeled with, what you amount to, your measure of yourself. By this inner and individual thing that is yours personally and can be set in motion by no one else, you build your personal impetus. You get yourself a certain individual power form. That is impetus. And impetus moving forward on its own creates your destiny. And unless it's informed by divine light, it will take you nowhere. There'll be direction, you'll have some sense of self, you'll have created it without being integrated with prayer of intercession, of divine light. It will end up being a fate, a destiny, and not the metamorphosis Spirit offers you. So when you think about that, sometimes we think we have free will, and what we mean is we allow this impetus to direct us, direct our purpose, direct our actions, and again say what we're for or against, or like or dislike. But that's not who you are. That's not the essence of who you are. It's a tool. It's a tool. We misidentify it. So how I want to proceed here for the distinctions that Spirit wants to leave you with is I'm going to go into the book by Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. And I recommend people get the book because everybody loves Eckhart Tolle. I think I've read his Power of Now 3 times. But I'm going to just take the language from him as he speaks it, because we want to talk about what is this spiritual realization? How do we go about it? And what's the point? You want peace. There is no one who does not want peace. Yet there is something else in you that wants the drama and even wants the conflict. Be able to feel it at this moment. You may have to wait for a situation or even just a thought that triggers a reaction in you. Someone accusing you of this or that, or not acknowledging you, encroaching on your territory, questioning the way you do things, an argument about money. Can you now, as you think of those things, can you not feel the enormous urge of force, impetus, moving through you, the fear, perhaps being masked by anger or hostility? Can you hear your own voice becoming harsh or shrill or louder or maybe a few octaves lower? Can you be aware of your mind racing to defend its position, justify, attack, blame? In other words, can you awaken at that moment of unconsciousness? Can you feel that there is something in you that is at war? Something that feels threatened? Something that lost? That needs the drama in order to assert its identity? Glorious character within that theatrical production. Can you feel there is something in you that would rather be white, would rather be right than at peace? You might say to me, I know I am an immortal spirit. Or, I am mad at this mad world. I don't want any more of this mad world. Peace is what I want. And the phone rings. Bad news. The stock market has collapsed. The deal may fall through. The car has been stolen. Your mother-in-law has arrived. The trip is canceled. The contract has been broken. Your partner has left you. They demand more money and they say it's your fault. Suddenly again, there's harshness comes into your voice. I can't take any more of this. You accuse and you blame, you attack, you defend, you justify yourself, and it's all happening on autopilot. Something is obviously much more important to you now than this inner peace that a moment ago you said was all you wanted. And you know what? You're not an immortal spirit anymore either. So, what is spiritualization? The belief that you are a spirit? No, that's a thought. A little closer to the truth than the thought that believes you are who your birth certificate says you are, but still a thought. Spiritual realization is to see clearly that what I perceive, experience, think, or feel is ultimately not who I am. That I cannot find myself in all those things that continuously pass away. The Buddha was probably the first human being to see this clearly. He became it's called Anatta, A-N-A-T-A, no self. This clearly became one of the central points of his teaching. And when Jesus said, deny thyself, what he meant was negate, begin to undo this illusion of self. If this self-ego were truly who I am, it would be absurd to deny it. Whatever form it takes, the unconscious drive behind ego is to strengthen the image of who I think I am. The phantom self that came into existence when thought, a great blessing, but as well a great curse, began to take over and obscured the simple yet profound joy of connectedness with being, the source, God. Whatever behavior the ego manifests, the hidden motivating force behind it is always the same. It's always the same. The need to stand out, or be special, or be the need for power, for attention, for more of whatever. And of course, it includes that feel, that need, that sense of separation. That means, and that creates, the need for opposition and for enemies. The ego always wants something from other people or situation. It always has a hidden agenda. There's always yet of insufficiency and lack that needs to be filled. It uses people and situations to get what it wants, and even when it succeeds, it's never satisfied. Often it's thwarted in its aims, and for the most part, the gap between I want and what is becomes a constant source of upset and anguish. Yes.
Related to that, okay, you know how you have your mind, which can be wrong, self-talk. Is your higher consciousness the same as your soul?
Let me go into the next part. Let me
That
finish this.
related-
I'm going to go through all of this as you go around.
So that's
see,
that.
Let's see what you're offered here.
Very good.
You are not the ego. So when you become aware of the ego in you, it does not mean you know who you are now. It means you know who you are not. But it's through knowing who you are not that the greatest obstacle to truly knowing yourself is removed. Nobody can tell you who you are. Another concept, so it would not change you. Who you are requires no belief. In fact, every belief is an obstacle. It does not even require you are already who you are. But without realization, who you are does not shine forth into this world. It remains in the unmanifested, which of course is your true home. You are then like an apparently poor person who does not know he has a bank account with 100 million in it. So his wealth remains an unexpressed potential. Going beyond ego? Going beyond ego is stepping out of content. Because we relate ourselves to our content. The job. How our mate looks. Or doesn't. If our children are straight A students. If the car is shiny and clean. If I show up on time. If I don't argue with you. Or if I argue with you, but only if what I have to say is worth it. I don't press you. That's who we think we are. We have all these measurements around us that say we've made it, but never quite enough. There's always that inch. There's always that inch. There's always that inch. Going beyond ego is stepping out of content. Knowing yourself is being yourself. And being yourself is ceasing to identify with content. The mind is more comfortable in a landscaped park because it has been planned through thought. It has not grown organically. There is an order here that the mind can't understand. In the forest, there is an incomprehensible order that to the mind looks like chaos. It is beyond the mental categories of good and bad. You cannot understand a forest. When you let go of it, when you let go of thought, become still and alert, and don't try to understand or explain. Only then can you be aware of the sacredness of the forest. Sense that hidden harmony, that sacredness. As soon as you sense that hidden harmony, that sacredness, you realize you're not separate from it. And when you realize that, you become a conscious participant in it. In this way, nature can help you become realigned with the wholeness of life. So what you think is what you're not. How you feel is what you're not. You are light, you are joy. That's your beingness. So what do we do about this? How do we get to the higher order? Some of it was said in last week's lesson. This is the offer. Focus on your triggers. Be aware. Be authentic and tell the truth about them, just to yourself. But it does help if you have a consort in discovery. And then behind the triggers, go behind the triggers. There's some content there that you could neutralize. You get to the truth of it. Because you made up something. You made something mean something. So if A happens, C's the reaction because you hold B as the truth. So if A happens, C happens because you hold B as the truth. So go behind this chaos. Focus on the triggers. And you've got to do this in the moment, people. You've got to do it. It's called being attentive. Be attentive. Be intentional in your life. When we started this out, don't be, well, eventually I'll get to the bottom of this. No. Be attentive. Be intentional. Commit yourself to spiritual growth and development. Be attentive. Be aware of the impact. On you physically. This is where strokes and heart attacks and obesity and drug addiction and sexual addictions, and that's where these come from. Because you're not being aware of the triggers. You're not impact, so you can manage it. So you can manage it. Not suppress, manage it. You integrate. And you integrate in bringing yourself to a quiet stillness. And whether you call it a walk in the park or a ride on your bike, meditation before you sleep, you've got to have the opportunity for stillness. If you have a journal, you have a place to record the aha when you do this work on yourself. Because the work has to be done in the moment. Whether you go to your car and you've got a little notebook there, or you go to your desk and you've got one in your drawer, put the aha moment down. So that in some time of stillness, because we have to be appropriate to what we're responsible for, you can revisit it and with intention go to work on it with your guides and your teachers. And then integrate. Integrate the discovery. Meet up with divine light to transmute it, transform it, or dissipate it. Meet up with divine light to transmute it, transform it, or dissipate it. You have the power. You are the author. You are a creator of the whole story to begin with. Now let's write a story that fulfills you. Let's create the characters that bring you joy. Let's remove ourselves from situations that trigger us. Prayer, meditation, a request to the teachers, to the angels, to your guides. Folks, free will. Free will, well, who knows how much of it we have it, because we're always going to be at the impact of the ego interpreting that for us. But free will does exist in the kingdom of God, where no echelon of spiritual teacher or angel can interfere, can assist, can heal without your request. Go to them. Put this in this basket and send it away from you with blessing. The reaction, the situation, the person. Send it away from you. Ask the angels to take it and transmute it and return it with wisdom as to how to manage it. And they will. They will. Ask and you shall receive. And the message from all of these teachers ultimately is, be light. We give you light. Be joy. Be joy. So appreciate your particular journey on earth, because you're a particularly beautiful person with a unique imprint to make on the world. But stay in the plan, and the plan is light, not darkness. The plan is light. Be light. So when you leave today, smile. Faith it. Faith it till you make it. We're going to close now with Ronnie Rice sending us off.
Day wind a blowing, I got nothing. This song is called Beautiful by Carole King. You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face. Show the world all the love in your heart. Then people go love in your heart. Then people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find that you're beautiful as you feel. Waiting at the station, day wind a blowing, I got nothing to do but watch the passers-by. Mirrored in their faces, I am growing. They don't see it showing. Why do I? To get up every morning with a smile on your face. Show the world love in your heart. People gonna treat you better. Yes, you will. That you're beautiful as you feel. I have often asked myself the reason for the madness in a world where tears are just a lullaby. If there's any answer, maybe love can end this sadness. but we can only try. You've got to get up every morning with that smile on your face. Show the world of the love in your heart. Better, you're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful as you.
So, you are beautiful. Feel beautiful. Smell that beauty out. My name is Michelle, Director, The Sacred Journey of Life, Spiritual Center, and Healing Water. It's very honest to all of you. I love you. Namaste.
Thank you, Michelle. Very nice.